I died choking on my own blood. The taste of betrayal as metallic as the knife my sister plunged into my back, figuratively, at first, then literally when she pushed me down those rain-slicked stairs. The last thing I saw was her face, twisted in fake horror, screaming for help while our parents nodded along like it was all a tragic accident. But death isn't the end, it's just the universe's sick joke, spitting me back into my 25-year-old body, heart pounding in a cramped Brooklyn apartment, 3 years before the fall, giving me one shot to rewrite the ending and drag them all into the hell they built for me. Waking up to the blare of my ancient alarm clock, the one with the cracked plastic face that I'd meant to replace 100 times, felt like surfacing from a drowning dream. My sheets were tangled around my legs, sweat-soaked, and for a split second, I thought the paramedics had shocked me back until I registered the faded poster of the Brooklyn Bridge on the wall, the stack of unpaid bills on the nightstand, and the faint hum of the AIC unit I jury-rigged with duct tape. It was June 15th, 2022. Not the rainy October night in 2025 when everything shattered. Not the hospital gurney where monitors flatlined as my family hovered, whispering prayers they didn't mean. I bolted upright, gasping, my hands flying to my chest, no scar from the accident, no phantom ache where the stairs had cracked my ribs before the final tumble. My reflection in the smudged mirror across the room stared back, Victoria Hale, 25, wide-eyed and alive, with the same unruly chestnut curls and the faint freckles across my nose that Mom always said made me look too Irish for this family. But I knew better now. I knew everything. The memories crashed over me like a subway train, unfiltered, unrelenting. I'd poured my soul into that restaurant concept, Victoria's Table, a cozy spot in Williamsburg blending Southern comfort with farm-to-table twists. Inspired by Dad's old stories of Georgia peach pies and Mom's secret roux recipe. I'd scraped together seed money from freelance graphic design gigs, sketched menus late into the night, even secured a lease on that perfect corner spot with the exposed brick and the skylight that caught the morning sun just right. It was my baby, my escape from the endless comparisons to my golden child sister. Elena, prettier, smarter, the one who deserved the breaks because she was fragile. They'd stolen it all. One family dinner, Elena batting her lashes over dessert, whining about her dream of opening a place just like mine. Mom's eyes lighting up. Victoria's Table? That's brilliant. Honey. Vic. You could help her with the designs. And just like that, my pitch deck vanished into their hands. Dad fronted the cash from his construction firm. Mom handled the permits with her real estate connections. And Elena? She got the credit. I watched from the sidelines as they rebranded it Elena's Hearth, slapping my name on the fine print as a tribute while erasing every trace of my input. It's for the family, they'd cooed. You'll get your turn. My turn came as their scapegoat. When the books didn't balance, shady suppliers Dad cut corners with. Tax dodges Mom signed off on, I was the one they pinned it on. Vic's been handling the numbers. Elena sobbed to the auditors, her crocodile tears sealing my fate. Disgraced, broke, and blackballed in the industry, I spiraled. The final blow? That accidental fall down the brownstone stairs during a reconciliation dinner. Elena's hand on my back, a little too firm. The cops called it suicide depression, they said. My family buried me with a closed casket service and sold the story to the local rags. Tragic loss of a troubled soul. But I wasn't troubled. I was erased. And now I was back, with every dirty detail etched in my brain like a blueprint for war. I threw on jeans and a faded Mets tee, my hands shaking as I brewed coffee in the leaky mister. Coffee pot. The apartment smelled like stale takeout and desperation.
Just like it had back then.
My phone buzzed, a text from Elena. Hey sis, dinner at mom and dad's tonight? Miss you. 2 hearts, the emoji twisted like a knife. In my old life.
I'd gone.
Forgiven.
Died.
This time?
Hell no.
I needed a plan. Revenge wasn't about screaming or fists. It was surgical. American-style lawsuits. Leaks. The kind of slow burn takedown that left scars deeper than bruises. First, document everything. I grabbed my laptop, the one with the sticky spacebar, and started typing timelines, emails I'd accidentally saved, voice memos from those late-night brainstorming sessions where they'd poached my ideas. By noon, I had a folder labeled Hail Family Fraud Exhibit A. Step 1. Get leverage. I couldn't touch the restaurant yet. It was still just a gleam in their eye. Permits pending. But Elena? She was already wheeling and dealing, schmoozing investors at rooftop bars in Manhattan. I knew because I'd been her shadow, fetching drinks and laughing at jokes that weren't funny. This time, I'd be the ghost in her machine. I called in sick to my dead-end job at the ad agency, something about food poisoning, and hit the streets. Williamsburg buzzed with the usual summer chaos, hipsters on fixies dodging tourists. The air thick with weed and halal cart grease. I ducked into a bodega for a burner phone, then found a quiet bench in McCarran Park. Dialed the number I remembered from the audit firm's directory. Mr. Hargrove, this is Victoria Hale. I have information on a potential embezzlement scheme involving Hale Construction and a new restaurant venture. My voice didn't waver. In my head, I saw Elena's face crumpling again, but this time, I'd be the one watching. He paused. Then, MS. Hale? As in, daughter of Richard Hale. Exactly. I fed him just enough, a whisper about falsified invoices. Nothing traceable to me yet. An anonymous tip, I lied. But if you're interested, I can provide more. By the time we hung up, I had a meeting set for next week. Seed planted. Back home, paranoia set in. What if they sensed something off? What if this body rebelled? Rejected the intruder I'd become? I paced the tiny living room, staring at the one photo I had of us all, smiling at my college graduation. Elena's arms slung around me like we were equals.
Lies.
All of it. That night, I skipped dinner. Texted back, stomach bug. Rain check. Elena's reply, a string of sad faces, and feel better. Love you. I deleted the thread, then pulled up Zillow. The corner spot, the one that would become Elon's hearth, was still listed. I screenshotted the lease terms, the ones Dad would negotiate to screw the landlord. Another nail. Sleep came fitful, haunted by echoes, the crack of my skull on concrete. Mom's voice at the funeral. She was always so impulsive. Dawn broke gray and humid, and I woke with purpose. Coffee black. No sugar.
Today,
I reached out to an old contact, Jenna, the barista who'd overheard Elena bragging about borrowing recipes from my notebook. In the old timeline, Jenna had ghosted me when I needed a character witness. This time, hey,
girl.
long time. Got a story that could make us both some cash. You in. By evening, we met at a dive bar in Greenpoint, the kind with sticky floors and a jukebox stuck on Springsteen. Jenna slid into the booth, her tattooed arms crossed, eyes wary.
Vic?
You look
Different.
harder. Life's a bitch, I said, sliding her a whiskey neat. Listen,
3 years from now.
my family's gonna open a spot called Elon's Hearth. Sound familiar? Her laugh was bitter. That witch sister of yours?
Yeah.
She name-dropped you like you were her muse. But I heard the real tea, your parents fronting dirty money from the firm. I leaned in, voice low. I need proof. Photos. Notes. Whatever you got from back then. And in return, when the shit hits, you get the exclusive, your byline on the exposé that tanks them. She mulled it over, sipping slow. Why now? What's changed? I met her gaze. The weight of 2 lifetimes in my eyes. I woke up. Really woke up. We clinked glasses. Deal sealed. As I walked home through the sodium-lit streets, the city felt alive in a way it never had, like a chessboard, and I was finally the player, not the pawn. But doubt crept in at 2 a.m., staring at the ceiling cracks that mapped out like veins. Was this me? Or the ghost? The old Victoria would have swallowed it. Played nice for scraps. This one, she hungered. For justice. For the life stolen. And yeah, maybe for the sweet burn of watching them choke on their own greed. The next week blurred into reconnaissance. I shadowed Elena's networking events, blending into the crowd at wine tastings and pitch nights, nursing a seltzer while she fluttered from mark to mark. She hadn't changed, blonde waves, designer wrap dress hugging curves I could never match. That laugh like tinkling bells over broken glass. Elena's Hearth, where family recipes meet modern flair, she'd trill. And the suits would eat it up, forking over checks. I snapped photos discreetly, her shaking hands with Dad's business partner. The one with the gambling debts, Mom air-kissing the health inspector who'd look the other way for a donation. Puzzle pieces. Clicking into place. Hargrove's meeting was in a sterile midtown office. All glass and chrome. He was older than I remembered, paunchy in a rumpled suit, but his eyes sharpened when I laid out the folder. This is dynamite.
Ennis. Hail.
But why betray your own blood? I smiled, cold as the AC blasting overhead. Blood? They spilled mine first. He nodded. No judgment, just the gleam of a win. We'll need more. Subpoenas. Witnesses. You willing to go on record? Not yet. I stood, gathering my notes. But soon. Very soon. Leaving. I felt the first real thrill, not fear, but power. The kind that hums in your veins like cheap bourbon. Brooklyn welcomed me back with a summer storm. Thunder rumbling like applause. In my apartment, rain lashing the window, I drafted the first email to the landlord, anonymous, hinting at code violations in the build-out. Just a nudge. The dominoes were lining up. Elena texted again. Vic, we're doing a soft launch tasting next month. You have to come. Your input was so key.
Key.
As if I were side dish. I typed back. Wouldn't miss it. Line number 1 in the new life. As the month wore on, cracks showed. Dad called. Voice gruff over speaker. Vic, you talked to your sister? She's stressed. Investors breathing down her neck. A translation. Fix our mess. I murmured sympathies. Hung up. Then forwarded the call log to my growing dossier. Mom followed with a voice memo. All honeyed guilt. We miss you, baby.
Come home.
Elena's place is going to be huge for all of us. All of us. The words soured in my gut. In the old life, I'd believed it. Rushed to help, only to be shoved aside. This time, I archived it. Evidence. Jenna delivered a USB drive of Elena's old Instagram DMs. Screenshots of her mocking my lame ideas while claiming them as hers. "You're a saint for putting up with that," Jenna said over tacos. Or were. Was, I agreed. The food stuck in my throat, too much salt,
Too much memory.
By the tasting's eve, I was a machine, sleep in snatches, coffee intravenous, mind a whirlwind of what-ifs. What if I slipped? Let compassion win? What if they saw through me? The mirror showed hollow cheeks, eyes like chipped flint. Not the old Vic. A weapon. The venue was a pop-up in Bushwick. String lights and chalkboard menus. The air thick with garlic and ambition. Elena greeted me at the door, air-kissing both cheeks.
Sis.
"You made it. Try the gumbo, it's your recipe."
Tweaked.
Stolen and repackaged. I smiled, spooned a bite. Perfect. Still my roux, my spice balance. "Delish," I said, and meant it as a curse. Our parents hovered, Dad in his polo, clapping backs, Mom in pearls, charming the foodies. I circulated, laughing on cue, but my phone vibrated. A text from Hargrove. Subpoena issued. Hale construction audit starts Monday. Let the games begin. The soft launch was a powder keg disguised as a party. Fairy lights twinkling like false stars over folding tables laden with charcuterie and craft IPAs. Laughter bounced off the warehouse walls. Influencers snapping pics for their feeds. Elena's hearth, where heart meets heat. While I wove through the crowd, a ghost in plain sight, my smile a blade sheathed in politeness. Elena was in her element, flitting from cluster to cluster, her laughter a siren call that drew wallets like moths. "Victoria, come meet Chef Ramos. He's doing wonders with your okra fritters."
Mine.
The word lodged in my throat like a fishbone. I shook Ramos's hand, complimented his sear, all while cataloging the undercooked edges on the shrimp, the watered-down cocktails to stretch the bar tab. Sloppy.
Rushed.
Desperate. Even then, to hit their funding goals before the cracks showed. Dad sidled up, beer foam clinging to his mustache, clapping my shoulder too hard. "Good to see you out,
Kiddo.
been too long." "Elena's killing it."
Ha.
That name, Victoria's table, it was your spark.
Spark.
As if I'd handed them a match and they'd built a bonfire on my grave.
Yeah. Dad.
My spark. I let the words hang, watched his brow furrow just a tick. Did he sense it? The shift in me, like a fault line cracking underfoot? Mom swept and then, her perfume a cloud of Chanel no. 5 and entitlement, linking arms with Elena for a photo op. Smile. Girls. Family first. The flash popped, immortalizing the lie. I posed. Teeth gritted. Phone buzzing in my pocket. Jenna leaked the DMs to a food blogger. Anonymous source. Stirring the pot? Smirking face. Stirring.
Yes.
I excused myself to the kitchen, a corner partitioned by curtains, where line cooks sweated over hot plates. There, amid the sizzle and steam, I slipped a USB into the manager's inbox folder. Labeled Health Inspection Notes, Urgent. Inside, fabricated reports. Seeded with real discrepancies I'd spotted. Expired dairy. Unpermitted gas lines. Nothing lethal. Just enough to flag the DO. A whisper to the wind. Back in the fray, Elena pulled me aside. Her blue eyes, mirror of mine, but softer, scheming, searching my face. You okay? You seem distant. Distant? Try dissected. Just jet-lagged from my own head, I quipped. American sarcasm my armor. Proud of you.
Él.
This is huge. She hugged me, too tight, her whisper hot against my ear. Couldn't have without you. Promise.
Lies.
Layered like Philo. I hugged back, inhaling her vanilla lotion, memorizing the scent of my betrayer. The night peaked with toasts, Dad's booming baritone praising our girls, Mom tearing up over legacy. I raised my glass, voice steady, to family. May it feed us all. Murmurs of agreement, clinks of crystal. But in my mind's eye, the stairs loomed, her push, the endless drop. I left early, claiming a headache, the humid night air slapping my face like a wake-up. Subway home. I drafted the next move, an email to the primary investor from a throwaway account. Elan's Hearth, due diligence alert. Inquire about Hale construction liens?
Subtle. Poisonous.
Monday dawned with chaos in my inbox, not mine. Theirs. I imagined it. Dad's office phone ringing off the hook. Hargrove's team descending like locusts. By noon, Elena called, voice pitched high with panic.
Vic?
Have you seen the news? Some bullshit audit on Dad's firm. It's tanking the restaurant funding. I feigned shock, pacing my apartment as rain pattered the fire escape.
What?
That's insane. What can I do? Nothing yet, just.
Stay quiet?
Mom's freaking. A pause. Then softer. Thanks for last night. Meant a lot. I hung up, bile rising. Quiet?
Oh.
I'd be a storm. The week unfolded like a thriller script I'd rewrite in blood. Hale Construction made headlines. Local firm faces embezzlement probe. The posts splashing mugshots that blurred Dad's face just enough to sting. Investors pulled out. The soft launch reviews soured with whispers of shady backing. Elena's Instagram went dark. Then desperate. Stories of challenges and perseverance, hashtagging family strong. I played the supportive sister, dropping by the brownstone our childhood home. All Cape Cod charm masking rot, with casseroles and platitudes. Mom chain-smoked in the sunroom, ash tray overflowing. It's a witch hunt.
Vic.
Your father's clean. This'll ruin Elena.
Clean. Right.
I nodded, stirring sugar into my tea, too much. Like her lies. What about the restaurant? She waved a manicured hand. On hold. Lease is ironclad.
But.
Cash flow. Her eyes flicked to me, calculating. You always had a head for numbers, baby. Could you look over the books? Unofficially, the trap. Sprung early. In the old life, I'd bitten, drowning in their deceit. This time, sure.
Mom.
Email them over. Hook.
Line.
Sinker. The files arrived that night, spreadsheets riddled with ghosts, phantom expenses, inflated vendor pays. I cross-referenced with my memories the audit from hell. By dawn, I'd compiled a shadow report, laced with annotations, suspected fraud, cross-ref IRS Form 1099 discrepancies. Forwarded to Hargrove. CC'd to a reporter at Eater, New York. Controversy brewed. Blogs lit up. Is Elan's Hearth built on borrowed dreams and dirty money? Jenna's leak timed perfectly. quoting insider sources on the stolen concept. Elena texted Fury. WTF Vic? People saying I stole your idea? Tell them it's bullshit. I called her. Voice honey overheard.
El.
I would.
But. Did you? I mean,
The name. The menu. It's all so familiar. Silence. Then tears. It's family collab. You know that.
sobs.
Help me fix this.
Collab.
The word curdled. I'm trying, I lied. Love you. Hanging up. I felt the first fracture, not in them.
But me.
Was this justice? Or just vengeance wearing its mask? The old Victoria whispered mercy. The new one snarled back. They chose this. You choose survival. Dad confronted me at a coffee shop neutral ground, Starbucks. All corporate blandness. His face was haggard. Ty, ask you. Vic. Level with me. You talking to anyone? This probe, it's killing us.
Us.
Never me.
Dad.
I'm as shocked as you. I sip my latte. Foam bitter on my tongue. But if there's dirt. His eyes narrowed. The contractors squint. There isn't. Swear it.
A beat.
Help your old man. Talk to Elena. Get her to drop the dramatics. Investors hate instability. Dramatics.
Pot. Kettle.
I'll try. As he left, I snapped a pic of his retreating back. The slump of defeat. Uploaded to my cloud of sins. The escalation came swift. DOH inspectors swarmed the pop-up site, citing violations I'd ceded. Gas leak risk, the report read. Elena's lease? Revoked pending fixes they couldn't afford. She showed up at my door that night, rain-soaked and wild-eyed. Mascara tracks like war paint. Vic.
Please.
They're saying it's over. Mom's popping pills. Dad's drinking. It's falling apart. She collapsed onto my couch. The same one I'd sobbed on in the old life. I knelt. Handed her tissues, Kleenex with aloe. The soft kind. What do you need?
You. Us.
Like before. Her hand gripped mine. Cold.
And clammy.
Remember when we planned this? You and me. Against the world. Planned.
Poached.
I squeezed back. The pressure point of betrayal. I remember everything.
El.
She didn't catch the edge. Rambled on investor calls.
PR spin.
I listened, nodding, until she crashed out, head on a throw pillow. In the dim kitchen light, I poured wine, hers, the good cab she brought as peace offering. Drugged?
No.
Too messy. Just enough to blur. While she slept, I rifled her purse, phone unlocked, text to a shady accountant, bury the numbers deeper. Screenshots to Hargrove. Then, the real gut punch, a folder labeled Vic Backup. My old pitch deck. Digitized. Notes in her handwriting. Tweak for L, make it shine. Stolen soul. Archived. I slipped the phone back. Heart hammering. Mercy flickered. Wake her. Confront. Maybe salvage the sister I'd once idolized. But the stares flashed, her palm flat against my spine. The lie in her scream.
No.
Dawn would find her gone. With a note. Take care of yourself. We'll talk soon.
Vague.
Full. She woke groggy. Hugged me fierce. Thank you. You're my rock. Door clicked shut. I bolted it. Slid down the wall. Breath ragged.
Rock.
Try wrecking ball. The fallout accelerated. Eater dropped the bomb. Elena's hearth, a tale of plagiarism and peril? Quotes from former collaborators. Jenna. Amplified. Social media erupted. Cancel Elena trending in foodie circles. Protests? Not yet. But boycotts brewed. Our family imploded in a group chat meltdown. Dad raging at leakers. Mom pleading unity. Elena silent then savage. This is Vic's fault. She's jealous. Jealous. The accusation landed like a slap. I fired back. Once. Jealous of what? Your success or your secrets. Then muted. Let them stew. Hargrove called. We're building a case. Embezzlement. IP theft. The works. You ready to testify?
Testify.
Expose it all, the favoritism that bordered on abuse. The jokes about my failures, the way they'd gaslit me into silence. Yes, I whispered. Burn it down. But as summer faded to fall, doubt gnawed deeper. Late nights. I'd scroll old photos, not the posed ones, but candids, Elena and me at Coney Island, the cotton candy stickiness and screams on the cyclone. Was she monster or mirror? Had I pushed her to it? My own ambitions a shadow she feared?
No.
Excuses were their weapon. Mine was truth. The climax loomed, a emergency family summit at the Brownstone. Code for intervention. I arrived armored, tailored blazer over jeans, hair sleek. The rebirth me staring back from the hall mirror. They waited in the dining room, the same table where deals were sealed and dreams devoured. Elena first, eyes red-rimmed. Vic, say it's not you. Mom, clutching pearls, we're Hales. We stick.
Dad.
Voice gravel. End this, or you're out.
Out.
As if I hadn't been erased already.
I sat.
Folded my hands. It's over because it was built on lies. My name. My ideas. Your crimes. I'm done protecting you. Chaos erupted shouts. Tears. A hurled wine glass shattering like my illusions. Elena lunged, nails raking my arm.
Bitch.
You are nothing without us. Nothing. The word ignited. I stood, blood welling in scratches. I was everything. And now, you'll see. I walked out into crisp October air, leaves crunching underfoot like brittle bones. Behind me, the empire teetered. The brownstone door slammed with finality, echoing down the stoop like a gavel's crack. But the real verdict was still pending in courthouses, newsrooms, the court of public opinion that Americans wield like a pitchfork mob. My arm throbbed where Elena's nails had drawn blood, thin red lines beating like accusations. But I didn't wipe them away. Let them scar. A reminder, or a trophy. The cab ride back to Brooklyn was a blur of yellow headlights slicing fog. My phone exploding with notifications. Family group chat nuked. Elena's solo barrage. How could you? And, buried in the spam. Hargrove. Deposition scheduled. Press conference tomorrow. You lead.
Lead.
The word tasted like power and ash. I'd spent lifetimes in the chorus. Now, solo. But as the driver droned about traffic, fucking bridge is a nightmare. Doubt slithered in. Was this revenge? Or reckoning? The line blurred in the sodium glow. My reflection in the window a stranger. Victoria 2.0. Forged in fire, but cracked at the edges. Home was sanctuary. Or prison, same peeling wallpaper. Same ghosts. I patched the scratches with Neosporin. Then cracked a bottle of bourbon. The cheap stuff that burned honest. Poured a finger, swirled it amber. To absent friends, the old me, who'd baked apology pies for their sins, to the dreams they'd devoured. Sipped slow, the heat spreading like resolve. Sleep evaded. So I worked. Drafted my statement for the presser. No histrionics. Just facts, stolen IP. Laundered funds through the restaurant shell. The favoritism that wasn't quirky but criminal. Emotional abuse masked as tough love. Controversial? Hell yes. Calling out parental neglect in a country that worships the nuclear family? Tabloid gold. Therapy speak backlash waiting. But truth doesn't pull nice. It guts. Dawn crept in gray. Coffee brewing as I suited up. Black sheath dress. Heels that clicked like clockwork. Hair twisted into a chignon. Professional venom. The Eater offices were in Soho. All exposed brick and artisanal everything. A far cry from the warehouse dives. Reporters milled. Mics bristling like porcupine quills. Jenna waved from the sidelines. Thumbs up. Hargrove introduced me. Victoria Hale. Whistleblower and victim. Victim. The label chafed, but fit. I stepped to the podium. Lights hot. Hearts colder. 3 years ago, my family stole my dream. I began, voice steady as the Hudson. Not metaphorically, literally. My restaurant concept, Victoria's Table, became Elena's Hearth overnight. My recipes, my branding, my blood. Pauses for gasps. Flashes popping. But it wasn't just theft. It was fraud. Hale Construction funneled illicit gains, kickbacks, under-the-table deals, into this venture, using me as cover until I became the fall guy. Questions flew. MS. Hale. Why now? Family reconciliation impossible? I fielded them cool. Dropping bombs, the DMs, the ledgers. Elena's push foreshadowed as jokes about getting rid of dead weight. Elena live-tweeted the carnage. Lies from a jealous has been. Hale strong. Her followers split, half rallying, half recoiling. Mom's Facebook went private. Dad's LinkedIn vanished. The blowback hit personal. Old friends med. Vic. This is messy. Picking sides. Aunts called. Voices quavering. Blood's thicker. Honey. Thicker than justice? I blocked. Deleted. Armored up. But the real gut punch came anonymous. A manila envelope slid under my door. No return. Inside, photos me. Blurry. Entering the brownstone. Timestamps from weeks ago. Back off. Or we expose you. My skeletons? Minor. A fudge tax return from lean years. A bar fight in college. Petty. But leverage. Panic spiked. Heart jackhammering. Hands slick. Who? Dad's old crew. The ones he'd retired with fists and favors? I called Hargrove. Voice tight. They're threatening. Expected, he grunted. Document it. Makes our case stronger. Witness intimidation. Stronger.
Right.
But fear lingered. A shadow in the fridge hum. I doubled down. Next move, the lawsuit. Filed pro se at first American DIY justice against Hale Enterprises, the umbrella mom had spun up for IP infringement. Emotional distress. The works. Defamation? Try truth as a defense. I muttered. Stamping the forms. Served via process server. The kind in ill-fitting suits who grinned like sharks. The restaurant corpse? I circled it. The landlord. Spooked by my tip. Jacked the rent, unpayable now. I posed as a buyer. toward the gutted space, exposed beams mocking my blueprints, the skylight dusty and defeated. Great bones, I lied to the agent, snapping pics of code violations still unfixed. Leaked to code enforcement, boom. Shutdown order. Elena confronted me on the street, corner of Bedford and Barry. Coffee in hand, uniform of yoga pants and rage. You did this. The lease gone. Investors ghosted. Because of you, rain started, misting her fury. Pedestrians blurred past, umbrellas blooming. Me or your lies?
El?
The push you planned, the frame job. Her face crumpled, then hardened. Push. That was an accident. You were drunk. Vic, slipping away. I tried to save you.
Save.
The revisionist history hit like vertigo. Save me for what? To bury alive. She stepped closer. Voice venom low. You were always the thorn. Mom and Dad's favorite failure. I made it work for us.
Us.
The delusion cracked me open. There is no us. Not anymore. A slap, her palm cracking my cheek, sharp as memory. Onlookers gasped. I tasted copper. Didn't flinch. Assault. Add it to the list. She fled, heels splashing puddles, and I stood there, rain washing salt from my skin. Bruise blooming, but so did clarity. This wasn't just revenge. It was rebirth, raw and raging. The legal machine ground on. Depositions in fluorescent hell, Dad's stonewalling. Plea the fifth, his mantra. Mom dissolving into hysterics. I just wanted the best for my girls. Elena? Ice Queen. Denying till her lips blued. Collab, she insisted. Eyes locked on mine, pleading. Defiant. My turn. Unflinching. On October 12th, 2025, Elena Hale pushed me down the stairs of 47th Street Brownstone, resulting in fatal injuries. Motive: silence a witness to their fraud. Gasps from the court reporter. Hargrove's nod gold. Twist came midweek. A curveball from Jenna. Digging deeper, found something on your mom. Not just real estate. She's got ties to a flip scam. Evictions on low-income folks. Ugly.
Ugly.
The woman who'd sung lullabies now a slumlord? I greenlit the drop, another leak. This to ProPublica. Expose it all. I texted. Controversial? Exposing family as predators in a housing crisis-riddled NYC? Nuclear. Fall deepened. Leaves carpeting sidewalks like confetti for the damned. Protests formed, not for the restaurant, but against Hales. Pickets at the construction yard. Chants of justice for Vic. My DMs flooded, survivors of their tough love, cousins spilling tea on favoritism that bordered cult. Validation. Or vultures. Doubt peaked one night. Bourbon bottle half empty. When a voicemail from Elena pierced. Vic. It's bad. Dad had a heart scare. Mom's checked out.
I
didn't mean the stairs. You were leaving, and I grabbed, slipped.
Please.
Come home. Home.
The word hollowed me.
I replayed it. Her hand, firm, not frantic. But what if? What if accident? Not malice? The ghost of sister love tugged, whispering forgiveness.
No.
I deleted. Poured another. Mercy was their chain. I'd snapped it. The climax built. Trial date set. Media circus swelling. But I wanted more personal. The restaurant's remnants? Auction cheap. I bid. Anonymous shell company. One for pennies. Renovation started. Not vengeance, but reclamation. Victoria's table. Real this time, my name. My rules. Elena found out via a tip, showed at the site.
Hat askef.
Eyes wild. You're buying it? To mock me? To own it? Workers hammered behind us. Symphony of second chances. Walk away.
El.
Or join the suit. She laughed.
Broken.
You win. Happy now? Happy? The question hung.
Free.
She left. Shadow shrinking. I turned back to the brick. Mortar dust like fresh snow. But the real storm brewed internal. Hargrove warned. They're countersuing alienation of affection. Some BS. Claims you're the poison. Poison.
Pot. Kettle.
I prepped. But nights grew long. Dreams replaying the fall, not Elena's push. But my leap? Had I jumped? Despair's final act?
No.
Evidence said otherwise. Witnesses I'd forgotten. The neighbor who'd seen the tug. But doubt festered. A controversial choice looming. Drop the murder angle. Settle for fraud? Save face. Or scorch earth? I chose fire. Winter clawed in early that year. A brutal front dumping sleet on the city like frozen tears, turning sidewalks to black ice mirrors that reflected my fractured resolve. The trial loomed, a Manhattan courtroom. All mahogany and murmured oaths, but the real battlefield was internal, where doubt waged guerrilla war. Elena's voicemail looped in my skull. Please. Come home. Home. The brownstone, with its creaky floors and walls that whispered secrets, or this new life I'd clawed from the rubble. Victoria's table rose from the ashes, contractors buzzing like bees in a reclaimed hive. But victory tasted like tin, hollow without absolution. Hargrove prepped me relentless, mock crosses, where he'd channel Dad's bluster. You were a junkie.
Vic.
Unreliable. Or Elena's silk-wrapped steel. She begged for involvement. Then sabotaged. I'd fire back. Facts as bullets. Ledgers. Timestamps. The neighbor's affidavit. I saw the shove.
Clear as day.
But at night, alone with the hum of the radiator, I'd trace the scarless skin of my chest, wondering, what if truth was subjective? What if my memories, reborn warped, painted villains from victims? The countersuit landed like a sucker punch. Hale family versus Victoria Hale. Intentional infliction of emotional distress, seeking millions in damages. They're painting you as the monster, Hargrove growled over takeout tie. Jealous daughter destroys dynasty. Dynasty. Laughable, their empire a house of cards, propping favoritism on fraud. But media lapped it, headlines screaming sister versus sister. Betrayal in the Big Apple. Talk shows dissected. Is whistleblowing worth family? Pundits split, feminists cheering my IP stand, trads decrying feminazi filial piety. Controversial? My story ignited Twitter wars. Team Vic versus Hale Hearts. Doxing threats pinging my inbox. I armored with therapy first time. Ironic rebirth perk. Sessions in a village walk-up. Where Dr. Lena unpacked the layers. Revenge is a drug. Victoria. Hi now. Crash later. What do you want beyond the win? Beyond. The question gnawed. Justice? Or just their pain mirroring mine? The trial opened in a flurry. Jury of 12. Diverse as a bodega shelf. Blue-collar Brooklynites eyeing me with wary sympathy. Opening statements. Hargrove eviscerated. A family built on theft. Crumbling under truth. Their counsel, slick as oil, a bitter woman's vendetta, unraveling bonds for bucks. Witnesses paraded. Jenna first, poised. Elena bragged, Vic's ideas. My execution. Cross-exam tore at her cred. Paid plant. But she held. Then the auditor. Droning figures. Embezzlement. $250,000 funneled. Gasps rippled. My turn came midweek. The stand a confessional under fluorescent judgment. I died, I said, voice cracking just once. Not literally then. But they killed my spirit, stole my dream, framed my failure, ended me on those stairs. Tears welled. I let them fall. Elena didn't slip. She pushed. To silence. Objections flew, speculation. But the jury leaned in, eyes hungry for the drama America craves, betrayal as blood sport. Recess brought Elena in the hall, flanked by bailiffs. Her once golden hair limp, suit hanging loose. Vic, she hissed.
Low.
Dad's dying. Heart attack, for real this time. Drop it, for him.
Dying.
The word hollowed the air. Flash, childhood. Dad tossing ball in the yard. Gravel voice calling slugger. Not the monster who'd chosen her over me. For him, or you. Her eyes, mirrors cracking, flared. Always you. The victim. I protected you from yourself. Your brilliance would have tanked. I saved the family.
Saved.
The twist hit like vertigo. Her delusion. Or truth. Had my old self been the flaw? Ambitious to ruin? No, evidence screamed otherwise. But mercy tugged. Controversial fork. Settle now. Preserve the husk of blood? I turned away. Tell Dad I said goodbye. Back on stand. Cross-exam shredded. You profited, buying the space cheap? Their lawyer. A fox in pinstripes. Vindictive. No. Vindicated. I shot back. You profited on my corpse. Jury murmurs.
Score.
The bomb dropped closing day. Mom's flip scam exposed. ProPublica splash. Evictions of immigrant families for luxury condos. Hail legacy. Profit over people. Chaos. Their team scrambling. Dad hospitalized mid-trial. Elena crumbling on the stand. I didn't know. But ledgers lied. Deliberations stretched 2 days. City buried in snow. I hold up at the site. Now blooming warm lights. Test batches of gumbo simmering. Chef side hired. Women of color.
Queer.
Overlooked like old me. Chattered recipes. Their laughter a bomb. This was beyond revenge. Legacy reclaimed. Verdict rang on my burner. Guilty on all counts. Fraud. Theft. Assault. Damages? $1.2 million. Plus restitution. Elon's hearth? Seized. My countersuit quashing theirs. Media storm. Press outside the courthouse. Mike's thrusting. How's it feel? Regrets. I paused. Snowflakes melting on lashes. Like breathing. Finally. But the twist waited in the hospital vigil. Dad. Tubes snaking. Eyes milky. Vic, he rasped. Mom comatose in the corner. Pills. The quiet killer. Forgive.
Forgive.
The word a chasm. Elena hovered doorway. Hollowed. We lost everything. Everything. Their empire. Yes.
But mine?
Rising. I knelt. Took his hand, calloused from builds. Not breaks. I do. But not forget. He nodded. Tear tracking. Proud.
Slugger.
Always was. Lies, truth in deathbed glow. I walked out. Sleet silvering the lot. Elena's whisper chasing. Sisters? Sisters. The bond fractured, but not pulverized. Maybe. In time. Epilogue brewed in spring thaw, Victoria's table grand opening. Line around the block, diverse faces, stories swapped over biscuits. Jenna emceeing. Hargrove toasting. No family, but ghosts at peace. Dad stabilized. Mom in rehab. Elena. Vanished to Atlanta. Whispers of a waitressing gig. Starting over.
Me?
Scarless, but etched. Reborn not to destroy, but devour, take back the feast they denied. Controversial end? No tidy bows. Just American grit, flawed kin. Hard-won wins. The tension of what-ifs lingering like aftertaste. As the skylight spilled sun over my domain, I raised a glass to the dead girl who'd jumped timelines, to the woman who'd landed running, to tables turned, and damn, it tasted sweet.